Hey, hi, hello, Psychotic here, and in the last week, I've been trying to fix the absolute travesty that is my Poison Werewolf Plague build, or whatever you want to call it, because at this point, I don't even know what it is anymore. To be fair, to call it a travesty is a bit harsh, but as you may know, Poison got quadruple tapped by the gods at GGG in 0.5. Pathfinder Ascendancy, Poison Burst Arrow, Toxic Growth, and Plague Fingers have all been nerfed significantly, with, as I mentioned before, Plague Fingers being the worst offender out of all of them. It removes any chance for us to apply any elemental ailments, basically breaking a lot of damage potential and defensive potentials through Ignite, Chill, and Shock. But obviously I'm quite a hard-headed motherfucker, so I decided to go with it anyways, in hopes and attempts to fix it. And boy, have we come a long way. So to start things off, we've completely abandoned the prospect of using Plague Fingers, because I still wanted to find a way to inflict elemental ailments, and having Plague Fingers on basically eliminates any chance of doing so, because it completely denies elemental ailments being applied. Now you might be saying, well, Sai, Original Sin converts all your elemental damage to chaos damage. So how on earth are you gonna fix that issue? Well, that's very simple. The way damage conversion works in Path of Exile is it first starts off your equipment, then it goes on to your skills, and lastly, it scales off of the Atlas tree and the support gems. Now, this isn't the way it entirely works in PoE 1, but it is how it works in PoE 2. And also, there's an entirely different set of values called Gain as Extra, which happen post-conversion. Meaning that if you have Gain as Extra Lightning, Fire, or Cold, that completely ignores the original Sin effect that says converts 100% of elemental damage to chaos, which means that any pre-conversion elemental damage gets converted to chaos, but anything post-conversion does not apply. So if you get any gems or any sort of affix that says gain as, it means it's going post-conversion, so you can still inflict elemental ailments on enemies. Secondly, over the last week, I've wasted about 100 divines trying to craft an amulet, specifically a Lament amulet from Breach that has the Withering Presence affix, which means it grants me the aura Withering Presence without me having to sacrifice both the attribute requirement and the spirit needed for it, which essentially frees up about 50 points of intelligence, which I can reallocate to anything else like gain extra damage, or more armor, or cost efficiency, which is something we can access on the Pathfinder Ascendancy. And it frees up the spirit, which means it allows us to access another spirit skill, such as Wind Dancer, to further improve our survivability. And that's exactly what we did. We are now sitting at about 72 evasion and 90% deflection, which is a huge change from the previous 52 evasion and about 60 deflection rate, and we feel a lot tankier. Now, of course, there's still things that need to change. I need to get at least to above 2k life for me to feel comfortable around certain mobs. Yay! Yeah, 0 times remaining, woo, and the game freezes! So our goals for this video are get a better weapon with 550 Ela DPS and at least 4.8 crit chance, and at least be able to beat the Bonak, Zesht, Tangmazu, Arbiter of Divinity, and the only real Uber in this league, which is Zarok with the Against the Darkness relic. But before we get to that point, we need to farm out our new weapon. Starting off, we're gonna run a few maps. Hey, bing! As I can go. And while I was in the swing of things, I thought, fuck it, why not? And got the rest of the Atlas points for Jado. The reason we're getting these is because Jado has a very nice skill that applies to the Atlas tree to increase the effects of your tablet modifiers, which can help us juice and make more currency later on. Another change we've done is we've switched to Icefang Orbit. What Icefang Orbit does is essentially it allows all damage from hits against poison targets to contribute to chill magnitude, which means even chaos damage now contributes to chill, which gives us at least an easy access or easy way to inflict chill and further slow our enemies, which gives us a lot more time to react to things. Mobs aren't as fast because their action speed is slowed. Same with bosses, so it allows us to survive or see incoming one-shots much easier. It also increases magnitude of poison, which is always nice for extra DPS. And last but not least is the new unique bow, Periphery. Now, Periphery, for those who don't know, is the new unique bow that was teased for 0.5 that essentially all elemental damage hits can contribute to flammability, ignite, chill, and freeze magnitudes, including shock, and they have this skill called Asmarian Swarms. Now what Asmarian Swarms does is it summons this little wisp when you kill a mob or hit rares and uniques that have elemental ailments. There's a 10% chance for rares and uniques, and basically when you kill other mobs you get this Asmarian Swarm. Now the thing about these swarms is A, they deal more damage with hits from their hits, the more elemental ailments they have, and they inflict Fairy Fire on the enemy or the mob that you're hitting. Now what Fairy Fire does is it debuffs the target, which causes hits against the affected target to gain 2% of damage as extra damage of a random element. It lasts 8 seconds and it stacks to 10 times. So that's 2 times 10, which is 20% of random elements, which makes it even easier to stack ailments. Now you might be wondering, okay, why are you stacking so many ailments? Because we are running basically this elemental to chaos build, we have Harness the Elements anointed on our amulet, which increases our damage 20% for each elemental ailment on the enemy. So that's a 60% damage increase when you have Ignite, Shock, and Chill on the target. You can actually get it to, I believe it's like 100% increased damage if you manage to freeze and electrocute the enemy, but I haven't managed to do that so far, so I'm just applying those 3. So both defensively and offensively, we're actually doing quite well. We have 72% evasion, 91% deflection, maxed out reses, and 48% chaos res. Now the goal for this, we have 2 goals for this week. Trying to get to level 95, which is now more possible because we're a lot more survivable, and B, get a new weapon. A, I managed to buy this beautiful talisman which had 4.81 crit chance, and I managed to slam the fracture on the crit chance, which was everything I wanted because anything that I tried to buy that matched my specifications for what I need for my build was over 200 divines. And as you can see, I don't have 200 divines, mainly because I've been burning them trying to craft that goddamn amulet all week. But that's never stopped me. So now, we're probably going to be burning another 200 divines trying to craft this fucking thing, in hopes that I can do the hardest content without basically dying over and over. So my end goal for this build is get to 95, get a decent weapon, do all bosses in tier 16 juiced maps, and at least survive and get to the end of them. If we manage to do that, I'll call this build a success, and we'll basically move on to the next one. To continue further on, after getting diddly squat from these maps, the fucking monkey, man. I'm like, if the monkey spawns a fuck. I decided, you know what? Fuck it. Let's start with the boss killing. And I went for my first boss fight, the Bodak, which, to me, is probably the best boss fight they've made in this league. Well, shit. Let's see if we can kill this guy again. No. This is probably, like, one of the coolest fucking boss mechanics ever. And the fact that they, like, use Solaris, Lunaris, and the Morrigan. Goodbye, Bodak. Woohoo! As you may have noticed, we have enough damage and survivability to basically fight and beat the Bodak as long as we're careful. The issue is, it's still nowhere near as enough as I want it to be. It still takes quite a long time to kill the Bodak, and our crits are very inconsistent, which is something I want to fix. You know what, fucking, I'm just gonna start the process. Please, as long as you don't remove my attack speed, I'll be happy. Just remove lightning or fire, I just need to roll them up higher. Just don't remove attack speed. What if I just perfect exalted? How much is this? 470. How many divines is that? Let's see how much money I'm burning on this thing. Like, fuck me. 3, 2, 1. I just spent about 20 divines on omens, annals, and other crafting materials, just trying to get any element under tier 3. And as you can see, it's going splendidly. Back to mapping we go. Well, here goes fucking nothing. This is going to be our first tier 16. Let's see if we can actually run tier 16s in our current form. Holy shit, these guys hit like fucking trucks in here. Yeah, fuck you. No, what have I done? I misclicked. Unfortunately, my dumbass on autopilot clicked offer tribute to the king instead of the deferral icon. Why? I don't fucking know, man. My brain just turns itself off sometimes. As you can see, I'm not doing any favors when it comes to progressing in a decent amount of time when I'm doing stupid bullshit like this. We grinded some more ritual, some abyss. Nah. Hey! Ooh! Oh. And then I decided to fight the Breach Lords. Followed by Zesh. Goodbye! Now you might notice, for all the plans that we have for this video, it sure is much shorter than you think. Well, this is why. You know what? Fuck it. We're gonna burn some more currency. If I don't make this weapon, I'm gonna go fight the Arbiter of Divinity and move on to the next build. I've burned so much currency trying to craft this fucking thing now. Boom. Okay. Okay. We got higher lightning. Give me high cold or fire. Bruh. Just lightning, cold, not lightning, physical, cold, just be higher. Oh, it's fucking tier 5 though. Now at this point, I had been trying to grind currency and upgrading my weapon for a majority of part of the week, and I had gotten fucking nowhere. And with this starting to feel like a sunken cost fallacy, I figured my build is still in a good enough position to do the content that I wanted to do, and I really wanted to start a new build before I end up burning out. You know what? I don't need no goddamn weapon. I am skilled enough to beat this boss with dog shit weaponry, okay? Yeah! There you go. Well, that was a clusterfuck because we were struggling with mana, but... Okay, GGG, what the fuck is this shit? I literally went, had a piss, had a snack, fucking loitered around in my bed, scrolling TikTok, and this shit is still loading. Okay. What the fuck? So yeah, at this rate, I'm pretty much done with this build. I will probably make my weapon once I start building my other plans to make decent currency with it. You'll never guess what the next build is. Yeah, I mean, who are we kidding? It's another poison build, but this time it'll be an Acolyte of Chayula build. This werewolf build usually does require a headhunter, although I really do want to get a mage blood at some point to test it on this werewolf build. The only real issue with this build I see is mana costs. Mana has become an issue. I don't know if GGG has nerfed or made mana costs increase. I'm guessing that's due to the plus melee skills, which I didn't have last league on my skills, but I'll probably fix that sometime in the future whenever I come back into this build. With that said, yeah, I mean, this build is okay. I wouldn't recommend it for new players. That's why I haven't made a build guide, because it was a little bit more problematic to fix the issues this time around, especially with the Toxic Growth nerf and the Plague Fingers nerf. But it's still doable. You can still do pretty much all content. I ran fully juiced tier 16s, with juiced Abyss, and some Delirium, so it's absolutely doable, especially with 72 evasion and deflection. But yeah, I'm pretty much done with this build for now, and I'll see you next week. You'll see a completely different build, and hopefully it's just as fun, if not more fun, than this one. With that said, thanks so much for watching. Love all of you. Take care.